This video will cover small blind play. First we'll talk about treatless 25 big blind strategy. Here we'll have a look at population tendencies, we'll compare open raising with limping with the bottom range of your hands. Then we're going to talk about what you should do if you face a 3-bet shove and how you can react against non-allin 3-bets. After that we move on to shallow play, 16 to 10 big blind and under 10 big blind play. After that we'll talk about adjustments you should make against aggressive opponents and regs and formulate a game plan against them. So let's start with population tendencies. How can the average opponent be characterized? The average opponent flats a decent amount of hands. He 3-bets a low percentage, he's quite passive post-flop, and he's not very aggressive against limbs. If you take each of those factors into consideration, you shouldn't fold any hand in the small blind treatless. Even playing 7 deuce offsuit or 3 deuce offsuit will show a better expectation than folding them. Okay, let's have a look at open raising versus limping with the bottom range of hands. In my database, in every database I checked so far for my students, open raising and limping with the bottom range of hands like 7 deuce offsuit, 8-3 offsuit, jack deuce offsuit was always between -0.3 and -0.4 big blinds, which is way better than folding, which is -0.5. It doesn't seem like a huge difference, but if you look at how often you get those hands and every time you fold that you lose 0.1 or 0.2 big blinds, and this piles up pretty quickly, so it's really a big difference. As open raising shows a slightly better expectation in most cases, I would advise that you start out by raising 100% and we are open jamming deuces and threes against an unknown opponent. Start out by raising 100%, but also throw in a limp occasionally. Even the weakest opponent will realize when you raise any 2 cards, so just limp from time to time to keep them happy. And an added bonus is you figure out how they react to limps, which is really good to know, especially if stacks get more shallow. So here you see my readless raise calling range for 25 BB going into the match. So it's 4s plus as we open jam deuces and threes and ace-7 suited and ace-8 offsuit and king-queen suited. So yeah, it seems tight, but the average opponent 3-bet jams around 15 to 20%. So even if we add a few bluffs, we can't really call king-queen offsuit or king-jack suited. How do we react if we face a non-allin 3-bet? It really depends on the sizing. Here you see my calling range against a T90 3-bet. Obviously if he 3-bets smaller, like 80, we call wider, and like against the min 3-bet I would just call any 2 cards because we have the odds for it. On the other hand, if he 3-bets to 100 or to 120, you have to call a tighter range, especially against like a 120 3-bet. I would even fold hands like queen 10 offsuit as we're just dominated too often. On the other hand, hands like 9-8 suited, jack 9 suited always have decent equity, so we'll always play them as long as they don't 3-bet like really big.